Oh, good morning, Internet. Data here, back on trail. Today is Thursday, March 13th. It's 8:30 in the morning. I'm about 2 miles north of the intersection at Thornton Gap, where Allison, the wonderful host from Open Arms Hostel, gave me a shuttle ride up to this morning about an hour ago. It's been a steady climb, not really a hard one, which is why I've made good time already. I've seen 7 or 8 deer already, but this is where I'm headed. This is the first hour of the day. So far, so good. A big shout out and thank you to Allison at Open Arms, a very well established hostel with a host who seems to know or have everything in-house that you would possibly need as a hiker, plus runs into Walmart and Dollar General and places like that. Great advice, and also great additional gear out of the gear boxes and the hiker boxes and stuff like that. So thank you very much, Allison. I highly recommend the Open Arms Hostel. For one reason in particular also, I got to sleep on the firmest mattress I've slept on trail ever. So I slept like a baby and hit the trail at 7:30 this morning, just raring to go. Today's a 14.4 mile day again. That'll be the second in a row. And I'm headed to a shelter or a hut that I don't recall the name of. I think it's Gravel Springs. But I'll talk about that later. And again, I'm just going to record, regardless of scenery, about once an hour to keep track of how my day is going throughout the day today and to help my pacing out. For now, this is Data getting back on trail. So at my next rest stop, I've been following and being followed by a set of 3 deer who are off in the distance right there. They may or may not show up because I'm looking into the sun, but they scampered off when I got near a spring here, near here, and yet they kind of followed me up the path for a while. They seem as curious about me as I am about them. I came up this way. It's 9:30, so I'm at my 4-hour mark, and so it's 9:30, and I've covered almost 4 miles, I think. So I'm moving at almost a 2-mile-an-hour clip, which I don't think is a testament to my trail legs, because I don't think I have those yet, but it is a testament to the fact that this part of the S&P is very smooth and well-graded path. There have been a couple of blowdowns, and I'm starting to realize that maybe blowdowns are just going to happen on the days after storms. So it's been a few days since there was a storm, so I think the trail crews have been able to get out and clear almost everything already. So thank you once again to trail crews. I'm going to have a little snack, hydrate some, and get back on the trail again. So now I'm about 4.5 miles in on my walk for the day, maybe 5, in Shenandoah National Park, north of the Thornton Gap. And you can see evidence of why there is a no campfires and no burn order in effect, because this area clearly has been ravaged by a forest fire in the not too distant past. I've been walking through this for a couple of miles, well, not a couple, for about a mile up this ridge. So it does look like, though, the fire tore all the way up this ridge. Some big trees stood and they just have a lot of scars way up them, but others have been pretty thoroughly burned clear down into the roots and might survive but might not. So I'm reminded that there is a no campfires order in place in the Shenandoahs in order to help prevent this kind of thing. But the forest is very dry this year, so in addition to campfires being prohibited, this dryness is what caused some of the deadfall and the downed trees across the trail. So it's a very different kind of a landscape in this part of the Shenandoah, though, than the stuff I've been seeing to date. Some of these timbers are just burned as they can be. So I'm just coming down a decline into Elk Hollow wayside area where there's a picnic area and supposedly a frost-free water source where I can pull some water and filter it. And when I get to that point, I'll be about 8 miles in on the day, but even though this is a little bit of a steep ascent, this is still how the path has been most of the day. That is, you know, stepping stones and pretty wide open and well groomed. So, a nice easy day so far. The sun's finally out, and I'm even able to hike now without poles. That's how smooth the terrain is, even when it's going downhill kind of steeply. So yeah, this central section of the Shannys is really nice for a novice hiker to develop some trail legs in. As a word to all those who are busy coming up here behind me in the next month or so. And there are even a few views. So just made the turn on the AT up towards Elk Hollow picnic site and wayside, where I'm going to be able to tap into some fresh water at a frost-free zone, and ran into this, which clearly this has got to drive the trail maintenance crews right up a wall, right? I mean, it's not just that this is a huge, fairly recent blowdown. It's clear from the cuts on the end of that log and one over there that they've already been through here cleaning this section of trail up fairly recently. Those cuts are pretty fresh, and yet despite their hard work, Mother Nature just came right back, dumped a whole new set of lumber on it. So I don't know how bad it looks on camera. In reality, it looks like I can climb over most of it and I don't have to go under it, which is a lot harder, I'm finding. But still, well, if I was a trail maintenance crew, this is the kind of thing that might wear me out. So I'm at the Elk Hollow camp store and wayside, which I knew would be closed, which was expected and fine. This is the wayside that would normally be open probably a couple of weeks from now, so by late March or early April. But also all of the bathrooms are locked, which again, you know, maybe not surprising. There are plenty of bear safe places to dump your trash, so that was great. And just beyond the building I'm pointing at, about a couple hundred yards, maybe 100 yards, is the picnic grounds. And in the picnic grounds, there is a frost-free faucet, like an old manual, what I call a farm tap, where you just lift it up and the ground pressure feeds water out. And it's available now, but it's a little hard to find. So I thought really quickly, as I show you what the wayside looks like, I'll describe to you, if you're northbound and you just want water from that frost-free tap, you don't have to come all the way up here to the wayside. As you're approaching the wayside area, on far out it'll say there's a blue blaze which will take you to the wayside. And as you follow that, you're going to see a little building off to your right, which isn't quite yet to the wayside. It's actually a comfort station for the picnic grounds. And if you take the little walkway up to that parking lot, right next to that comfort station, off in the corner, about 100 yards before you get to the wayside on the right-hand side, is that frost-free tap. So you could really go there, tap water, filter it, and then get back on the AT and walk kind of where I'm showing you now, beyond just to the what is the west of the wayside itself, and then come on past it and never have to come into the wayside if you were not wanting to do that or didn't need to do that. That wasn't real clear on any of the sources I saw, so I thought I'd share that in the video. So hopefully that helps somebody on their way through here. The frost-free tap worked fine, and I filtered a bunch of water. Now I'm just sitting here with a little pack-off break, having a lunch. It's about 1 o'clock. I got about 4 hours left to the Gravel Springs hut where I'm going to spend the night. Day is sunny and a little bit cool. Hiking's been good. In fact, it's been very easy, really. And I got about 1,000 feet up and 1,000 feet left to do for the day, and then I'll call it a night. So, until my next update, see ya. I haven't shot a lot of video today because really it would have all pretty much looked like this, which is really nice. I mean, this reminds me of a state parks that Mrs. Data and I go to in the Midwest, and it's, you know, it's a nice path. Some of the uphills are a little challenging, but they're just long, like, you know, 1,000 feet of ascent in a mile. So not anything like the Smokies or the Georgia, or certainly not up in New England. But, you know, they're climbs. But most of today has been like this. Just wide open paths through what I think is an oak forest. I'm not sure because there's no leaves on stuff. But there have been some deer around a little bit and an occasional day hiker, but really just me alone in the woods, out for a stroll. So it's not a bad way to spend an afternoon, I guess. It's kind of nice. It's not as rugged as a bunch of the stuff was at the southern end of the Shenandoahs, though. So I'm a couple hours out of camp now, or less, really, probably. And I'll have done my second 14-plus mile day, and I have another one tomorrow into Front Royal. So here's a little view as I start coming down the last descent of the day, out over Skyline Drive there below me, and then off into the distance to the places I'll be headed tomorrow. They haven't had us up on the ridgeline with good views for very much of the day, but, you know, got to admit that Virginia countryside out there is kind of a nice sight. And it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I best get myself to that hut. So this is the view from Little Hogback Mountain, looking to the west. And it's very peaceful up here now. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm about a mile or so from my shelter for the evening. Taking one last little standing break, and then I'm going to be on my way.